What is going on, everybody? It is Dave in here helping you play creatively. Recently, I was working with some students from my church on playing Christian contemporary music, and I was reminded of a common problem I hear. One of the students told me they've been taking lessons for 14 years, and often these lessons are classical in orientation. However, these lessons haven't prepared them to play Christian contemporary music, or quite frankly, any contemporary genre. So, what are some common steps that you can use or tips that you can apply to play Christian contemporary well? Here's one of the first things that you can begin to do. Often in Christian contemporary music, you're going to get a chord chart, and the chord chart is going to provide you with some major and minor chords. And what often you may do is you may play exactly what you see. If it says D major, you're going to play a D major. If it says G major, you're going to play G major. If it says B minor, you're going to play B minor or A major, right? However, you should begin to think a little bit differently about what you see on the paper and more so treat it as a guide. So here's what I would do in step number one. I would begin to substitute some of those major chord for sus2 and sus4 chords, okay? What is a sus2 chord? Well, let's look at D major. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the third or our middle note and we're going to bring it down one whole step. So from F sharp to F is a half step, from F to E is a half step, and two half steps make a whole step. So from F sharp to E, we have D sus. And then if we go from F sharp to G, we're going to have D sus4. So D sus2, D sus4, okay? Now, we would apply that same concept to the other chords like G major, so G sus2. We really couldn't play a G sus4 because we're in the key of D, and this C is not a part of the D major scale, okay? It's really a C sharp. So we're gonna just play G sus2. For the A, we can play an A sus4, okay? And then we'll keep B minor just as B minor, okay? But sometimes you could even substitute that. All right, we'll get into that a little bit further. So here's how I would play this D to G, B minor to A progression. I'd play it something like this. That already begins to sound a little bit different, a little bit more like what you might hear in a lot of the music in CCM. First step is substitute your major chords for sus2 and sus4 chords. What is the next step that I would apply in playing Christian contemporary music? Well, I would begin to only change my left hand. I think this is probably one of the most crucial things you can begin to do instead of trying to change for every single chord in your right hand, okay? So this is what I mean. Instead of playing it like we did it earlier, we're just gonna change the notes for our left hand, and it's going to be something like this. We're gonna just go to D, G, B to A, and we're gonna keep for our right hand a D sus2 chord. So here we go. Now that's beginning to sound a little bit more like it, okay? Now we can even try substituting that D sus2 or alternating really between the D sus2 and the D sus4. Here we go. All right, it's beginning to sound a little bit more like it, and it's beginning to take a lot more color, which is what I like, all right? So that is step number two, is only think about changing the chords really for your left hand and stay on the one chord in your right and just alternate between D sus2 or D sus4 or whatever key you're in. So if you're in the F major scale, then alternate between F sus2 and F sus4, okay? Step number three, begin to think about the groove. I am so sorry to say this, but I'm not. Classical musicians don't have to think about the groove of the music as much, but it's so essential for a lot of contemporary genres, okay? How do we begin to think about the groove? I say this all the time. Listen to what the drummer is doing. And so oftentimes a rhythm in Christian contemporary music is gonna come out something like this. Boom, cat, boom, boom, cat, boom, cat, boom, boom, cat. Now let's try to apply that to the piano. And really, as a piano player, you should be thinking about the piano as a rhythmic instrument, and it's actually a part of the percussion section, believe it or not, because it's an instrument that you strike with your hands, okay? How would I apply that to the piano? Boom, boom, cat, boom. Now, what am I doing? From my left hand, I'm thinking about what the kick drum is doing. And I'm not playing it every time, but I'm at least thinking about that concept, right? What is the kick drum doing? From my right hand, I'm thinking about the snare, a lot of times the hi-hat. The snare is emphasizing the 2 and 4, so 1, cat, 3, cat. It's emphasizing 2 and 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Rather than just playing everything at the same velocity, I'm accenting the 2 and 4, okay? So that's very essential. Okay, now the other thing I'm doing is a little bit more nuanced, but I'm not playing all of the notes for this D sus chord every single time, but I really am alternating sometimes between this D and then playing the full chord. So it's more like this. Okay, let's move on to step number 4. So here we're gonna think about adding piano riffs. Now this is where your playing begins to take a lot more color, and it's really my favorite part of playing CCM because I get to think about what melodic ideas I want to add. And what is a riff? A riff is really a melodic idea that is not essential for the song, okay? So here's a piano riff that I like to play. Now let's go ahead and apply that same riff to this progression, okay? All right, or we can take another riff. So let's try that one. Now let's try to apply the 2 of those riffs. All right, so you could begin to see how if you apply riffs, think about the groove some, begin to think about just changing your bass notes rather than full chords in your right hand, and then you begin to think about sus2 and sus4 chords. You have a whole lot you can work with in playing CCM well, rather than sounding like, you know, you just got started yesterday with these basic chords, right? Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Right now, we actually have a special going on where you can get the lifetime membership at the Play Creatively site. What does that mean? Hey, you just pay a one-time fee and you can get all of our courses and workshops and song tutorials, and you can actually reach out to me for help in your piano playing journey, okay? A sale that's going right now during the month of November, so you don't want to miss out because we only offer this one time a year. So go ahead and check it out. Well, until next time, keep watching, keep learning, and we'll all keep growing together. I'll see you next week.